The scripture this morning is from the work of Nelson Mandela. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. Many religions teach a very strict set of rules that may have been written hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Today, there are those who don't see relevance or truth in some of the historic beliefs and ways of doing things. Religions of all faiths are having difficulty attracting and keeping congregants. And this disconnect with the past and with the present may be part of the reason. We're all here this morning for some reason. You might just enjoy the energy, like to hear the music. You like the people here. You could be working through some personal questions concerning your daily life, and you find the principles of metaphysics are helpful in making decisions. You might have personal questions about God, heaven, eternity, and are just looking for some answers, your own answers. You might just want some personal quiet time. Whatever your reason, we're all here this morning for some reason. There are times we might feel like we've solved a problem, and then it comes back around again, and we find ourselves confronted with the same problem, and we start questioning the solution. What has changed? Why is that not working? Life is a moving target. Everything we're doing just keeps moving. Relationships with our friends, significant others, our children grow up. Work colleagues come and go. It seems contradictory, but the only constant is change. Opinions and beliefs evolve over time. Our culture is much different today than it was even 20 years ago. While always having existed, divorce, having children without marrying, LGBTQ lifestyles are a few examples of issues that are becoming more open and acceptable in our society. Work and lifestyle choices are changing rapidly. What we believe to be true can change. Experiencing change, we learn the importance of being flexible and open to contemplating what is working in our own lives and what is not. A common saying we hear these days, I am not religious, but I'm spiritual. We hear that all the time. Is there a philosophy or a theology that matches the search for spirituality in our rapidly changing culture? With the world connected through the internet and social media, a new idea or a new discovery can be universal knowledge overnight. Whether it's true or not, it's just there. Videos posted online allow people to make their own conclusions of many events. 200 years ago, it would take months for news to travel around the globe. Now it's practically instantaneous. One person with a smartphone and it's out there. One could question, are we in a constant state of chaos? Information coming at us from every direction? Or is there logic to the streams of events in our lives, the events in society? Edgar Cayce, who is considered one of the most gifted channelers in the last 100 years, worked with the Akashic Records. The records are believed to be a history of every thought, every conversation, and every action that a person had in this and any previous lifetime. Cayce also believed that all possible future options for an individual, all your options of your decisions, were already in the Akashic Records. From the book Edgar Cayce on the Akashic Records by John Tedeschi, in Cayce's view, every individual was very much an integral portion of the whole. Ultimately, the purpose of each lifetime was to undergo experiences which would enable the soul to become more in tune with its divine origins. The purpose was to undergo all these experiences. Whether or not that ideal was actually achieved became a matter of free will. But regardless of the specific lifetime, the opportunity for soul growth was ever present. We come back to the phrase, I am not religious, but I am spiritual. Many people find the dogma of religion cannot be reconciled with their own observations and experiences in life. If you believe in an all-knowing and powerful God that fulfills our prayers, it seems impossible to reconcile the many tragedies and hardships in our own lives and in the world. People feel a connection to something larger than themselves. Yet the explanation of that something bigger, the transcendent, is more complex than what a fixed set of rules can explain. Casey's concept of the individual's responsibility and ability to learn and evolve through life experience are in line with the first and fourth principles of the United Metaphysical Churches. The first, we believe in God as infinite intelligence. We don't believe God is the superhuman actually deciding our fate, judging us. There is a consistency in the physical properties of the universe, from the tiniest atom to the vast solar system. Through trial and error, humans learn what works and doesn't work. We learn what actions are beneficial to our relationships. They're mystical experiences, mystical spiritual experiences recorded in all religions that are very similar. These consistencies in all aspects of the universe, the physical, human behavior, and spiritual experiences are proof of an omnipresent, omniscient intelligence that in some manner, we don't understand how, in some manner this intelligence we call God designed a universe that continually evolves in an orderly manner. There's cause and effect, and it's consistent. The fourth principle, we believe in personal responsibility and that we create our own happiness or unhappiness as we live in harmony or discord with natural physical and spiritual laws. Personal responsibility. We know when it's real cold outside, you better wear a coat. If it's snowing, you better slow down. And on our personal life, although we can't control all our circumstances, when situations arise, each of us makes our own decisions. Over time, we learn from experience which were the good decisions and which are those we need to rethink. Edgar Cayce thought that ultimately the purpose of each lifetime was to undergo experiences, which would enable the soul to become more attuned with its divine origins. If you believe in a heaven, if you believe in an eternal soul, this life is just a second in eternity. And our soul is here to learn. And we're just presented experiences. Individuals, we are all part of the whole, part of this infinite intelligence, part of God. In our lifetimes, through our own experiences, our own trial and error, we learn lessons. And though every soul is on an individual journey, none of us knows exactly what someone else's life has been like. We are subject to the actions and history of those who came before us and those around us. The current national boundaries of countries, the governments of nations, are a product of humans' actions and decisions. The climate issues we have, our religious questions, the changes brought with technology, our personal expectations concerning our lives are all the result of human decisions and activity. From the beginning of time. In the early 1900s, we could either go electric, they had electric cars, or we could go the internal combustion engine. Well, the people with the oil companies saw they could make a lot of money with the internal combustion engine. So that's the way we went. And we have climate problems. We have the power of reason and free will. Humans are the cause, either directly or indirectly, of all the events in our lives. A stranger to us a minute ago can adversely or positively affect our lives permanently through their actions. A driver not paying attention can end a stranger's life. Fires, pollution, political unrest affects all nations. Whether we want to be or not, we are all interconnected at many levels. In Casey's view, all the individual and group experiences are opportunities to learn. Opportunities to learn what works and what does not work for the betterment of the individual, the earth, the whole community of mankind. History repeats itself, but do we ever learn? Doesn't seem like it. We could speculate that the purpose of mankind is to create a world where the problems of mankind are solved. In our own lives, we have loving relationships that fall apart. Organizations we belong to have internal strife. Many of our traditional beliefs and habitual ways of being are the reason why our lives, our emotional states, our institutions are not what we want. And it's back to us. It's the old thing when you're pointing a finger, you have 3 fingers pointing back at you. There is truth in the scriptures of all faiths. The United Metaphysical Church's principles are intentionally broad. The individual has a responsibility of filling in the blanks and finding what works in your own life. When something is not working in our lives, the individual, we, need to understand how our actions contribute to the situation and find meaningful, constructive ways forward. To learn most of our lessons, there will be other people involved. It is easy to see what others are doing that we don't agree with. It's difficult to see our own errors and faults with an unbiased view. It's our view of the world. It's hard to see that it's not correct. It has to be right. It's what I think. The following are a couple thought processes that might allow a person to learn from a situation and to change their perspective. 1, understand the part you played. Learn to take responsibility and to forgive yourself for mistakes you made, and find ways not to repeat unproductive behavior. And 2nd, understand the part the other parties played. Learn to forgive them. Forgiving them so you can move on with your life without the burden of allowing a past event to continually affect your peace of mind. Evolving means we can move forward with more knowledge and not repeat the same mistakes. Forgiving someone does not mean that our relationship is the same as it was in the past. Personal responsibility for ourselves may require that we set new boundaries. That's what you have to figure out. What is best for you? What allows you to evolve? Change is constant. Our relationships, our personal expectations, our paradigms for how we view the world is in a constant state of flux. The principles of the United Metaphysical Churches present a format that is flexible enough to allow each person to contemplate and develop a philosophy, an individual understanding of your own beliefs, and understand your power to control your actions, to actually practice controlling what you do and what are the results. The principles allow you to develop a theology of your connection not only to the physical universe, but to the transcendent. Your beliefs, your way of being will evolve with life experience. Knowing what you believe gives you the power to act with confidence. Adapting to change enriches your life and allows you to be emotionally agile. Take advantage of all of life's experiences. The things you may think are fun and the things that are not fun. Take advantage of them as a learning experience. Every day is an opportunity to learn, to contemplate your beliefs, and to evolve. Blessings.